And welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I actually have this makeup look tutorial right here, and it's actually all matte. Could you believe it? Literally throughout my entire existence on YouTube I've never did an all matte makeup like this. Matte eye, matte skin, matte lips, matte everything. Like I've never ever did this before, and I'm actually low-key obsessed. Like I'm actually obsessed with this. Normally I like to have a little bit of glow somewhere on my skin, maybe like a little bit of highlighter, maybe a little bit of glowiness on the eyes or something, but this is like entirely matte and I'm actually loving it. Like it's making my skin look so nice, and normally I would have thought matte products would make my skin look worse because I have more drier skin. But I will leave a little link to all the products that I use in this video down below if you do want to go get them for yourself, because these products that I have used, they're really easy to get as well. There's a few high-end products, a few drugstore, but most of them are actually drugstore, and all the eyeshadows and stuff are all drugstore, which is amazing too. But yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see this video, and I will see you in a little second. So I'm actually going to start with carving out my eyebrows today first of all before filling them in. Like sometimes I do my makeup in like such a weird order. Whenever I do my clients I always do their eyes first, and then, well no, I actually do their eyebrows first, their eyes first, and then their base after that. But whenever I do it on myself it can go either way. Like sometimes I do my base first, my eyes, sometimes I do my eyebrows first, you know what I mean? So today I'm going to go in with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer and my Zoeva carving brush, and I'm going to use this just to carve out underneath my eyebrows, just right along here. And then once I have that carving line created, I'm just going to take it down onto my eyelid as my eyeshadow base as well today. And then I'm just taking a small little buffing brush and just using this to press down the concealer onto my eyelid, just like that, just until it starts to look a little bit more matte. And then what I'm doing is literally just taking a little bit of extra concealer and just applying it around kind of this part of my eye, just that really outer edge right along here. Just because whenever I do like a brown smoky eye, I always like to like pull it right out kind of on this area. And obviously you want to make sure you have your base down there or else the eyeshadows won't stick right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is going to go in with another cream product, and this is the Barry M All Night Long Concealer, which is actually one of my favourite drugstore concealers too. This one here is in the shade 6 Hazelnut, and it's a little bit more of a darker shade, and the reason why I'm using this one is because I want to actually add a little bit of this through my crease area and kind of pull it out here just before I go in with my brown eyeshadow, and this will just make the blending process so much easier. Whenever you do this, because this is such a darker colour, you don't want to use a lot of it or else you'll just kind of make your whole eyelid just pure brown, you know what I mean? So I'm literally just taking the small amount of that concealer just in the back of my hand. So I'm literally just putting this through my crease just where I would normally put like my transitional colour, you know what I mean? And just treat it as if you're using like a powder, because I feel like sometimes cream products scare people sometimes, but you can really, if you work in small measures and small little doses each time, I feel like you'll have the most control over it and it won't go as crazy looking, you know what I mean? So just make sure that you're using a really light hand and very little product. The palette that I'm going to use today is the Patricia Bright Makeup Revolution Collaboration palette, and this is the one with all like the more neutral kind of shades in it. My clients know I love this palette so much, like I literally use it all the time on them, and I would use it a lot on myself too. It just has some gorgeous, nice kind of matte neutral shades along the top. She also has like a more colourful version of this palette too, which I think is called the Rich in Colour palette. This one's the Rich in Life palette, but I would definitely suggest getting these, especially if you're only starting out in makeup and you don't want to go in and buy something that's like super expensive yet. I feel like this is a good wee palette to start off with. And first of all, I'm going to go in with this shade here called Brown Sugar and pretty much just put this right on top of where I put that concealer. I'm just using really light pressure and literally just putting this exactly where I put that concealer before. And especially whenever you get to your outer corner here, you definitely want to use even lighter pressure here because you don't want to have a really harsh line on your outer corner. So just use really, really light pressure, especially whenever you're coming to this outer corner area. And then every so often I'm just going to go in with more of like a bigger kind of fluffier brush here just to really help blend that outer corner area here. So I do want to apply a little bit more of like a darker kind of brown just right on my outer corner here just to really make it look a little bit more smoky looking. So I'm going to take a mix between Brown Sugar and then this one here called Jet Setter, which is more of like a darker brown. So a little bit of Brown Sugar and then a little bit of Jet Setter right here. I'm literally just pressing my brush down right on that outer corner there and just keeping it more so on the outer corner of my eyelid itself rather than the actual like outer corner, or else you'll have like a really heavy area there. And then what I'm doing is going back to that brush that had the other colour on it, the Brown Sugar colour, and just again using this one to kind of help soften those edges just so it all kind of flows out into that nice kind of triangle shape on the outer corner. Obviously you can have this as dark as light as you want, but I'm just going back in with a little bit more of that Brown Sugar colour and just putting it right on my outer corner here and just deepening that up a little bit. And then once I have my foundation on later on, it kind of looks a little bit harsh now, but then once I have my foundation on later on, it'll all just flow into my foundation colour, you know what I mean, because my skin's quite pale right now. And then once I have my darker foundation foundation on, there won't be as much of a contrast between this colour and my actual skin tone, you know what I mean? So I want to put like a matte kind of creamy white colour on my actual eyelid to just kind of brighten this up, because I don't want it to be as dark and smoky as this. You could make it more dark and smoky by applying like that brown colour just right across the entire lid, but I actually want to brighten it up a little bit and put more of like a creamy colour in this area. So I'm actually going in with my Plouise eyeshadow base, and I'm using the one in 02. So again guys, with this just a little small amount, because you don't want this to like overpower the entire thing, and especially now that we're working around powder and stuff, powder and creams can be a little bit hard to work with sometimes, so especially doing this, just make sure you're using small amounts and then just building it up if you need more. I'm literally just taking this and just putting it in from the inner corner, just right up until my crease area, to about halfway across the eyelid. So you can see that's kind of give that nice brightening effect right there. I've just zoomed you guys in a little bit so you can see a little bit more what I'm doing. I'm actually just patting my brush down here just to make sure all those edges are nice and soft. Now what I'm going to do is mix a little bit of the Angel shade, which is like a matte white, and then also mix it with a little bit of Natural Glam, which is more of like a creamy kind of ivory colour. I want to make this one a little bit brighter, so that's why I'm mixing it in with the white, and I'm just taking it on that same brush again. And again, these eyeshadows, they're literally so freaking good for the price of them. And with this, I'm literally just pressing down my brush right on top of where I put that Plouise base. And then once you have that patted on, I'm just going to go back to my original two brushes that I was using earlier, so the one that has the more darker brown on it, and then the one that has the more lighter brown on it. And I'm just going to kind of re-add in that darker colour, and then just kind of blend the lighter edges with the lighter brown brush, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going back in and just re-adding in that darker brown just right on this outer corner, and just using little small press motions just to diffuse those little edges together. I'm taking a tiny little bit of that brown sugar shade and just applying it right between where that darker brown is and where it meets the lighter creamy colour, just so it all flows together. So it's nice to have like your lighter colour, that medium brown, and then your darker brown, just so it flows all together. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and do this eye off camera, and then I'll be back to show you how I do the rest of the base and stuff. Okay, so now that I have both eyes finished, what I'm going to do is go ahead and apply my lashes, and the lashes that I'm using today are the lashes by Morton, of course, which I'm just obsessed with. So this is what the style Dreamy looks like up close. You can see they're kind of more on the natural side, and they're perfect for this look because I just love how like they're kind of shorter in the inner corner and then get a little bit more longer in the outer corner, so they're going to be perfect for this kind of style of makeup, the fact that we've kind of dragged out, you know what I mean? And then because they are quite soft and natural, they're appropriate for more like everyday kind of wear as well, but they're gorgeous. I will leave a little link down below in the description too of where you can get these as well. So guys, this is what the Dreamy lashes look like on, if anyone is wondering, and look how nice and flattering these are on this certain eye look. Like, this is gorgeous. I'm obsessed. Literally obsessed with this. Okay, so for my primer today, I'm going to be taking the Barry M Pixie Skin Blurring Beauty Elixir, and these little beauty elixirs that Barry M do, I would highly suggest picking up a few of them. They're literally so good. I have a couple of them. I have this one, which is more for like people who like more matte kind of effect on their skin, and then they also have a few other ones which are more like hydrating, more glowy, more dewy, and they're literally only like £6 or £7 each. They're so good. So I'm literally going to take some of this and just put it straight on my face. The little dropper in them isn't the best, but I mean, you don't really care about the dropper, do you? Like, you know what I mean? It feels so hydrating, and it feels super smooth whenever you put it on. Like, it doesn't feel dry in the slightest, but then whenever it starts to dry down, it just looks pure matte and makes your skin look like you have an actual filter on it. Like, it's incredible. It's so good. For my foundations today, I'm going to take the Maybelline New York Warm Sun Foundation, and this is one of my absolute holy grail foundations. Like, I love this on myself. I use it all the time with my clients. I just love it. It lasts forever. Like, it literally lasts so long in the skin, and it's got super full coverage too, and I feel like you can get it like all the time on Superdrug for like 2 for 12 quid, which is so good. Because this one is a little bit too dark for me, I'm actually going to mix it with a little bit of the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation, and again, this one is matte. This one here that I have today is in the shade True Beige. It's a little bit lighter than the Maybelline one, but that's why I'm using it, because I want to lighten it a little bit. I'm literally just using that same Zoeva brush that I used to carve out my eyebrows earlier, and I'm just literally putting this all over. I'm just going to leave it underneath my eye area because I'm going to put my concealer and stuff underneath there, and I don't want too many layers underneath my eyes. Then I'm just taking my little beauty sponge to blend this in. I've been loving using this sponge recently to do my base just because it doesn't look as like full coverage, and on myself recently, believe it or not, I've actually been using like lesser product on my base. I just haven't been liking like a really intense base recently, and I feel like I like to do more of like a thinner layer of foundation and then build up the coverage more with like my cream bronzer and my concealer and stuff, because I feel sometimes if you do like a really like heavy layer of foundation, then you've got like your concealer and then your cream bronzer and everything else, sometimes it just looks a little bit too much, and especially with a look like this where it's more like, it's like eye focus, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want your base to be too much. And then for concealer under my eyes, I'm just going to take the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer. Again, this is the same one that we use actually as our eye base today, but I do like to go in with quite a bit of concealer, especially if I don't do a more like heavy foundation like I did today. I did more of like a sheer kind of layer of it, and that's why I like to use more concealer. I just like to apply it more so just like underneath my actual eye area, and then whatever's kind of left, I like to kind of tap around the edge of this, because you don't want to take your concealer and completely carve this line out either, and then it'll just make that like way too harsh. So just kind of put the concealer more so underneath your eye, and then whatever's kind of left on the sponge, then just tap around the edge of that more smoky part of the eyeshadow. So to add a little bit more kind of contour back into my skin and like add a little bit more bronziness and like colour back into my skin because it does look quite beige right now, I'm going to just take the Tantour contour and bronzing cream from Huda Beauty in the shade Light, and these are so good, like these are so nice, I love these. So this is what it looks like right here. All the colours are quite more on like the cooler side, so if it does look quite cool I can then warm it up with a little bit more of like a warmer bronzer later on. So I'm just putting this right in the hollows here. As you can see, it is very dark for being the light shade, so obviously a small bit goes a long way. And then I'm just taking a clean brush just to kind of buff that out. So just back and forth motion, just really light pressure, just to slightly blend that out. So hopefully you guys can see the difference between this side and then this side just looks a little bit more flat looking, and then this one has a little bit more definition to it. So one last cream product that I'm actually going to use in my skin before I do my powder, I'm going to use the Plouise Basic Brights base in the shade Poppin Pink, and I'm actually going to use this as a cream blush today, just a little bit on my cheeks right here. So obviously be really careful with this. You guys know how pigmented these Plouise bases are, like oh my god. It's really light pressure and just putting a tiny little bit of this onto the apples of my cheeks just right here, just to add a little bit of colour back into my skin, because I do like a little bit of blusher, especially whenever you go for like a really kind of matte look. I feel like it's crucial to have a bit of blusher because your skin does look quite flat, so it's nice to add a little bit more pinkiness back into the look to kind of make it look a little bit more lively. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my Maybelline Fit Me loose setting powder. This one here is in the shade Fur, and because obviously all the products that I do have on my skin are matte, because I only need like the tiniest little bit of powder or else my skin will literally be like the Sahara Desert because my skin is already dry. So I'm just taking a tiny little bit of this and just putting it right underneath my eyes and kind of up just beside the angle of where that darker kind of brown line is coming out, just to really brighten up that area too. So now what I'm going to do is take my Doll Beauty Gimmie Sun Bronzer in the shade Dark, and I'm just kind of putting this in the areas where I contoured but just up a little bit higher, just where you would naturally kind of get a little bit of sun in your holidays. I kind of add my bronzer in like a 3 shape just along here, and just avoid this part of the eye look obviously because we are going to come back to it later on and perfect that little bit. So I'm going to go back to my bigger kind of fluffier brush from earlier and again just really perfect this wee outer edge and just help to really blend it and pull that colour out a little bit further. So just a little bit, just to really make sure that it's merged in with that powder and my foundation and stuff that I have on today. So I'm going to go back in with that shade Brown Sugar and just put this right along my lower lash line, just from the outer corner right into the inner corner. And this is the only product that I'm actually going to put on my lower lash line today, because I do want to just keep the focus to just like the upper part and the lashes and stuff, because I don't want to really add too much on the bottom or else it'll look quite dark. But obviously if you guys are doing this look and you want to take it a little bit more smoky, you could maybe add a little bit of black like in your waterline or something, or maybe smudge a little bit of black underneath the lower lash line too. And then I'm going to connect this kind of into that line that I did on the outer corner as well to help kind of pull that out a little bit too. Just using really light pressure, and then back in with that same big fluffy brush from earlier just to really help blend that. And I'm just going to take a little bit of mascara and just do a good wee layer of mascara on my lower lashes. So what I'm going to do now is take a little bit of the Hydrating Mist from Superdrug. This is one of my holy grail products. I'm literally obsessed with this. So because obviously all these products are matte on my skin, this doesn't have any shimmer in it or nothing. It is like a matte spray, but it won't make my skin look any more matte. It'll just add more of like hydration back into my skin, and it'll just kind of help absorb any extra powder and stuff too. I'm now going to go in and just kind of spike up my eyebrows a little bit, and then just take a little bit of this Morphe eyebrow pencil and use this to kind of fill in this little bit of a gap just here underneath my eyebrow. You can see like right here I have a little bit of a gap, so I'm just taking a tiny little bit of this pencil and just putting it right in that wee area just to kind of close that in a little bit and make it look not as empty. Then I'm just going in with this Primark Define eyebrow gel, and I'm just using this to kind of fluff up my eyebrows and just kind of pull them up the way a little bit. This eyebrow gel is literally so good for like £1. It's so good. Like, it doesn't keep your eyebrows in position all day long, but it keeps them in position for a good while, and especially for £1, you know what I mean? Like, you cannot be bad to that whatsoever. I'm taking this Rimmel London lip liner in the shade Cappuccino, I think, and I'm just going to use this to line my lips today. And then the lipstick that I've just put on my lips is the Huda Beauty Anniversary Matte Lipstick. Oh my god, how nice is this? Literally, I love this colour so much, especially paired with a more like deeper lip liner, and these go on so smooth. They're so nice. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. So guys, this is the final look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it's actually so weird looking at myself here with like all matte makeup on, because if you guys are like an OG subscriber of mine or follower, you guys will know that I love to have some sort of like glowiness or dewiness on my skin somewhere, but like for it to be all matte is actually mad looking. Like, I'm actually obsessed, low-key obsessed. But yeah, I will leave a link to all the products and stuff down below in the description box. I love yous all, and I hope yous are all staying safe and staying indoors, and I just love yous all, and thank you so much for watching. See you later guys.